let's settle this once and for all for the viewers, because we get asked this question a lot.
All the time.
Why wasn't I invited to your wedding? Hi, today I'm joined by someone very dear to my heart. She's an actress you've seen on stage, most recently in the Pulitzer Prize-winning play English, on television, and in films like A Simple Wedding, playing opposite Şöyle Ağdaşlı, Rita Wilson, and Maz Jobrani. She's a playwright who won major accolades for her brilliantly performed one-woman show Mahmud, which she not only toured, but she also performed in front of the former queen of Iran, Shahbanu Farah Pahlavi. She's a new mom, she's a close friend, and she's definitely got talent. She's Tara Grammy.
Hey! Wow, that was beautiful, Nazi.
Thanks for being here, my friend.
Oh my God, thank you for having me. I love you.
Look at this red nails.
Wow, we always match.
A couple things I want to say before we start is that this terme is from Tara's wedding from Iran that I'm borrowing for our set. And these sohans, which are little like sweets, are from Qom.
It's the land of my people.
Is where Tara's from. So
it's okay. No, I'm from Tehran.
Yeah.
My father's family is from Qom. I need to make that distinction because I definitely don't know anything about Qom. People that are Qom are always like, Qom, I don't know.
And you're like,
nothing.
I haven't there.
Love there.
Haven't been there.
No,
You've been there.
I've been there, yeah. My grandparents live there, but I've only been to their house.
Yeah. Okay. Where's DR?
I don't know.
Okay. And tell everyone who DR is.
DR is my son,
Yes.
which is a really weird thing to say.
I
just
know.
want to say how weird it is that I have a son.
Yeah. Wait, is it weird they have a son or you have a kid?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
A little bit of both. But the kid thing.
Yeah.
Because it's also really, it's just a weird thing to say. He is my son.
Yes.
He's actually with my mom right now.
He's the chosen one.
He's I don't know if it's a good chosen Haveni for
I've
me
been
to be
around
his
him.
mom.
He's
pretty
very talented.
chosen. He's very talented.
He's there was one time when I was just there last week and you were like, can you watch him real quick while I put the dishes away? I swear to God, I had my eyes on him and somehow I looked over and he had a knife in his hand.
Yeah.
And that really happened. And I was like, oh, she really cannot take her eyes off him.
I cannot take my eyes
Because I've been
off
around
of
my
him.
other friends' kids who they're like rambunctious, but he literally had a knife in his hand. And it was probably a nanosecond that I went like this to like get my coffee or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was scary. That was a little scary. It was a butter knife. I want everyone to know it was a butter knife.
We don't keep sharp knives around him.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I did turn around and he had dog poop in his mouth the other day. So
Oh my gosh. Tell me how that happened and what did you do?
Well, I almost vomited.
Yeah.
So what happened was I took him to the backyard. We were playing. I was setting up his basketball net and I'm literally watching him. And before I went outside, I checked for dog poop and there wasn't any. So I was like, yeah, you can play here. And I look at him for a second. He's right here, by the way. He's not like out of my line of vision.
I know what that's like.
And I just looked at him. I'm like, oh, what did you put in your mouth? And I went over and it was dog poop. And I just grabbed him. And first of all, I screamed. I'm not going to lie. I screamed. I pulled it out of his mouth. He started screaming because he didn't know what was going on. I think he also realized he realized this is gross.
This doesn't taste good. Oh, this is not chocolate.
I can't even talk about it.
Oh my
and
gosh.
then I took him sorry to gag on the first 30 seconds of your show.
It's okay. I heard the
20
story, so I
times.
understand. It's okay.
Then I took him to the bathroom. I washed out his mouth. I gave him a full bath. I sanitized everything. Now he's just not allowed in the backyard.
Yeah,
or outside.
Maybe just we have to keep 24-hour eyes on him.
He's going to be inside of the house.
He's something. He's something else.
He's very smart and very active. Let's put it that way.
Also, tell everyone what DR means and why you named him that.
So DR means homeland. And I named him that because...
In what language?
In Persian.
Oh, Persian. Okay.
Land of our people.
Yes.
But also in Arabic. And it's actually a Kurdish name.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
A lot of Kurdish people.
Shout out to our Kurdish friends.
Anyway, long story short.
Yeah.
So my husband's last name is Azad, which means free. And when I was pregnant, she also has
My tattoo says Azad.
She's obsessed with my husband's last name.
A little bit.
Like,
and I got it before I met him.
Yeah.
So
then she met him and she was like, oh my God.
This is for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So my aunt one day didn't even know I was pregnant and was like, your husband's last name is so nice. You should name your child one day something that goes with the last name, like DR.
Yeah.
Because then it's homeland, free homeland. And we're Iranian and our homeland is not free.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you're aware of that.
Oh,
I'll tell you about the history later.
Please tell me the history later. Yeah, I'm unaware.
Yeah. And then I was pregnant and I was like, oh, that's a really good idea. And then when we were doing English, our director chose DR, which is a very famous Shahram Shapar song, as the song we bowed to every night. And it just became clearer and clearer every night that his name was going to be DR. And yeah, so that's his name.
Real quick about, because you brought up English. So English is a play that we both did together, written by Pulitzer Prize winner Sanaz Tusi, Iranian American from California.
Queen.
Shout out Queen. I want to tell the story real quick of how I found out you were pregnant, because Tara's a terrible, like she can't keep anything from me because I like zero in on her brain and her facial expressions. And we were at the opening day. So this is where you meet the entire theater. Everybody comes, they want to watch you do a read through, et cetera, et cetera. And we're at this like reception, and Tara comes over, and you just said something. You were like, my boobs hurt. And I just looked at you and I'm like, what, are you pregnant or something? And then you went, no. And I was like, oh my God, are you pregnant or something? And then you were like, no, I am. And then you were like, I don't want anyone here to find out. So I had to pretend for the entire, I couldn't even show a facial expression. I was like, oh, okay.
She literally went,
bagel.
oh, okay. And then the rest of the time she was like forlorn for the rest of the day.
Half of my brain was like, oh my God, what's happening? What's going on? What is it? And I couldn't talk to you about it because you were also worried that maybe it could impact your job at the theater.
I was just anxious about doing a full. I'd also found out the day before we got there that I was pregnant, so I'd known for 24 hours. It was a very overwhelming time in my life. I didn't expect it, so it was a very like, wait, what?
Yeah. So technically, I've also now worked with your son.
You've worked with Tia
because you were pregnant on stage.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's so cute.
You did so well. There were a couple nights I remember that I looked at you on stage and I was like, she's gonna throw it in her mouth. Like you look like you're about to vomit, and you swallowed it a couple times.
Oh yeah, I swallowed some vomit. I had a nosebleed in between scenes at one point because that was one of my pregnancy symptoms.
Super chill performances. Yes,
I carried Kleenexes every time my nose was running a bit. I'm like, is it blood? Nope.
It was a character choice.
Yeah,
she's always sick.
She always has a runny nose.
She's
so
sick and tired of life.
Sick and tired of this English class.
Also, I saw you for the first time 10 years before we actually met in Sweden, which you, for some reason, I tell this story all the time. You
and
like,
I
never
always
believe
forget,
it.
and I tell you about Motherhood.
Yeah. So Tara wrote an award-winning play called Mahmoud, which I told you guys about. And I remember I was living in New York at the time, and I saw this flyer, and I just saw that, oh, Iranian Canadian, da da da. I was like, I want to go support an Iranian girl. And I came to your show by myself, and I thought it was so well done, and you were so talented, and you were doing all these different characters in the show. And I wanted to come talk to you afterward, but there was a lot of people talking to you, and I was like, oh, I don't want to bother her, so I left. And we didn't talk that night. And then we met 10 years later.
In Sweden.
Before we did
random.
Persia's Got Talent, which was a crazy experience to be thrown into together.
Insane.
You had years of experience working in the Persian language market before that. I never did it, and that was my first foray into it, and it was such a big project for the first
Oh my
thing.
God, you poor thing.
I was so nervous and so anxious. I was so excited, but I'll never forget that the day that we were supposed to go, the producer set up a very intimate dinner with just us, Farzan, the other host, Ebi Jun, who's an icon, Adash, international pop star, Mahnaz, acclaimed actress. And then we were waiting for the car to come pick us up. And I looked at you in the lobby, and I felt like all the color drained from my face. And I was like, I can't go. I can't do this. I can't handle it. And you immediately said, I'll stay. I won't go either. And I just felt like such a connection to you immediately. Because like, I was like, oh my God, this girl has my back, and she's known me for like 24 hours. And I really loved you after that.
I loved you too.
Yeah.
I'd heard of you from Cheyenne. I was like, oh, she's pretty.
What a bitch. What a bitch.
I can't believe what a dumb, pretty bitch she is.
I remember you told me, you were like, I was like, she probably can't speak Persian that well. She probably da-da-da.
Yeah, I judge you hard.
Yeah, I get it.
Because you're like pretty.
Thank you.
And then,
it's okay. She loves me now, everyone.
I saw you, and I was excited. Like, I was excited to meet you. And you came, and you had, guys, she had this book.
Oh my God, my
She
killer.
had
My trapper keeper.
A binder that was this thick.
Yeah.
And she was like, can you test my Persian? I'm like,
Because I was learning so many new words that I would never have to had used if I wasn't on a talent show judging talent.
What some of these words were really big words that I didn't know. I was learning them as I went along. I was like, oh, this means what does this mean? I don't know what that means. What does that mean? There were so many of them, and she's like, okay, so let's do a test scenario. She was and I was like, wow, this girl is hardworking. Like she's pretty and she's hardworking.
Oh my God,
and I was like, shit, man,
you're pretty and hardworking.
Oh my God, thanks. Barely, like just barely. But no, I was really touched by how hard you were working, and I was like, okay, I love her.
Thanks, Bill.
Very quickly.
It was a situation where we knew we were going to be getting judged because we were the foreigners.
Yeah,
we weren't. You were born in Iran. We'll talk about that. I wasn't. I was born in Arlington, Virginia. Shout out 703. And whoop, whoop. Got some Virginians in here, guys. Look at this audience.
Some virgins.
Some virgins. Yeah, I'll move on.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. I was like, my parents are going to see this. What was I saying? Yeah. We were going to get judged. And then I remember that our executive producer had like a whole chat with me. He was like, okay, what we thought was going to be a problem apparently isn't. I was like, what do you mean? He goes, the network and we were worried that maybe the accent was going to be a problem. Apparently people love it. And I was like, good, because I actually think Iranians as a whole, they love when people who weren't born and raised there learn the language and can speak. They don't give a fuck about your accent. They just think it's cute that you
speak it. You speak the language. How you speak. Do we care if like our friends have an accent when they speak English? Like who cares?
But do you think that's also because we grew up with parents who have accents? So for us, it was normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
maybe.
I don't even notice people's accents half the time. Just kidding. I usually imitate them right after.
You do right after. I know, but that's like because you do impressions.
That's my thing. Yeah.
I do want to ask you before we move on, really quick, what you think. What was the biggest change that's happened to you in your life since you had a child, and what do you wish people told you beforehand instead of kind of making it like, which I know it is, it's the best thing in the world, you'll never feel as much love, etc. But what are the things that you think people don't talk about as much that are maybe stigmatized that you wish people would talk about more honestly and that you've experienced that have been difficult? Maybe.
Shit, Nazanin, do we have 7 hours to talk about this?
Some time, yeah.
The hardest thing, the biggest challenge is definitely time. I don't have time.
Yeah, I've noticed.
I don't have time. No, but I always have time for you.
No, you do. But I mean, it is, listen, I've had a lot of good friends that have had kids, and there is an adjustment period that I think we're in as friends even, where I have to even take a step back as a friend and be like, oh my God, I can't just call Tara really quick and be like, I need your advice on this, because you're in the middle of stuff. It's hard, and your focus is, I can't expect that from you. But I know that if I ever needed you in an emergency and I did call you and do that, you'd be there in a heartbeat. You'd strap DR on and fucking run to Hollywood.
Let's go.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, of course. And it's also, it changes a lot too as they get, when they're younger, it's a different kind of need. And as they're getting older, it's different too. But it's really how much brain space a child takes. Like in this time that I've been sitting here, I've thought about him 3,000 times. You know, you can't help it. It's like, what are they eating? Are they pooping? Are they everything? Yeah, are they eating poop in my case?
Sorry,
but it's okay. Just a little trauma.
Yeah, a little triggering. Sorry about that.
A little trauma.
Okay.
But yeah, it's so much of your mental and physical and emotional space. They just take up a lot of space. And it's hard because it alienates you from yourself. I feel very disconnected. Still don't fully feel connected to who I was before, but I am who I was before, but I'm not. And it's hard to be like that 10% of your brain that isn't thinking of them, that's, you know, can focus on other things. Where do you put it? And yeah, it's challenging with work stuff. It's challenging with being creative. Like, I know it gets better. They always tell you it gets better, right? It gets better. They say it gets better when they get a little older.
Yeah.
But it's challenging, and I wish I'd known that.
I wish I'd known that.
I wish I'd known that.
Hello, Toronto.
Toronto.
I've seen that in action because I came over before I left for the DNC. And I was telling you a story that you were like, tell me this. And I started saying it. And then I noticed DR moved and you had to get something from the closet. And then you forgot that we were talking about it. And watching it in action it made me have even new sympathy for you and like empathy. I was like, she is not able to process 8 things at one time. And also you're caring for a human being that you have to keep alive. And that's where the most of your brain power is going to go. And I can't imagine, because I have like more of a situational type anxiety where if a big thing is about to happen, or I'm about to take on a big job, or I'm worried about something, I get this feeling of stress. And we've talked about that. And you were like, yeah, I have that, but all the time now. And I was like, I can't imagine feeling that panic I feel temporarily all the time.
All the time.
That's hard.
Yeah. It's really hard.
Yeah. You're doing a great job though. Because you still, me and Nusha were talking about it, our good friend Nusha Nour, that we go out.
Yeah,
We've still gone out. We've done girls' nights. We come over.
Yeah.
And you're still like, you do what you can to keep it more probably normal for yourself. So you feel like you're not just completely losing yourself as a person.
It's also made me a lot kinder to myself. I used to respond to texts within 30 seconds of receiving them.
Yep.
I used to answer every single call. I used to call people back right away. I was so on top of everything, and now I'm not.
Yeah.
And it's like a weird thing with your identity too, because I was always like very communicative, but now I'm not as communicative, and I have to like release that expectation of myself, because I truly cannot do. But it's funny, since the last time we spoke, when you got back from the DNC, you were telling me a story about something.
Yeah.
And then we never talked about it again. And I've been meaning to text you to be like, oh my God, can you tell me that, for days since that day?
And we will.
Because I want to know so bad. She's
I'm
coming over for sleepover.
No, and I noticed those things too, but it's
sorry.
No, you shouldn't be sorry. And it's like, it makes me understand like your capacity, and like you. And the reason I won't even immediately call you for something now is not because I don't want to share it with you. I will. It's because I don't want to burden you, because you're a very sweet person, but you have people pleasing tendencies.
Yeah.
And I know that you'll take it on, but you shouldn't.
No, but I've become better at that. Yeah. I gotta say, I become better at it because I can hold it. Like I can hold whatever it is you want me to hold, and I can hold space for you always. But I can't do that. I hold your hand, but I can hold it really for like a few people. I can't do it for everyone anymore.
And you shouldn't.
No, I actually physically cannot, because I
physically cannot either. I do want to touch on the fact that you performed for the former Queen of Iran.
Sure did.
When you got that call, what was that like, and how did you feel?
You know who booked me on that? Samira Mohieddin.
Oh my gosh! Shout out Samira, fabulous Canadian journalist,
greatest journalist,
always on the right side of history.
Careful. Shots fired.
I was going to ask you what it's like in 3 words. Can you tell me?
Terrifying. There were some people in the audience who wanted me to stop performing because they were bored. I was also 25 at the time.
Okay.
And it was really mean. And then, so I stopped the show, and I looked at Shapanu, and I said, do you want me to stop? And she went, no, please continue. Oh. And I went, shut up.
Well, she was a very famous supporter of the arts. And that's one of the things she was known for in Iran. So I would think if anyone's going to appreciate it, it's going to be her.
And she did, and they loved it, and she was so kind to me afterwards. I was so touched by her kindness afterwards. Because I went up to her after, and I was in my ball gown and not in my weird outfit for my show. Yeah. And I was like, hi. And she's like, she didn't know who I was. And someone was like, oh, this is Tara. And she went, oh my God, you're so Chulu. You're so young. You're like a baby. How old are you? I was like, I'm 25.
Yeah.
It's like, you're so talented. I was like, I love you. It was really sweet.
I love that. I'm sure, but that was a really beautiful
I actually have a picture of it. I'll send you of me going.
Send it.
I literally look like that.
We'll put it in this. There's another queen that you love, and I love too. And you do a killer impression of her. But I don't think you know who I'm going to say first. So I'm going to sing a lyric from Celine Dion, and I want you to finish it as her.
Okay.
There were nights when the wind was so cold.
Then my body froze in bed. If I just listen to it right outside my window.
چشمامو ببندم از انگار سنین اینجاست. Okay, there's another one. Ready? For all those times you stood by me,
for all the truth that you made me see, for all the joy you brought to my life, for all the wrongs that you made right.
Ooh, I'm feeling the feelings. Okay.
Oh, shit.
I'm going to sing one of my favorite old school Persian pop songs, but I want you to sing it as Celine.
Done.
Okay. پرنده قشنگم کی میایی.
Oh no, what's
It's
like
رفیق روز تنگم کی میایی. پرنده قشنگم کی میایی.
رفیق روز تنگم کی میایی.
I love that. That was also a little Cher.
Okay, I was gonna
It's
say
Celine
that
to
went a
Cher.
little Cher. Sorry about
Martinique
that.
collab. So it's Martinique X Cher X Celine.
Come on,
I love that.
Dream trio.
Martinique, call us.
Call
Cher,
us.
call us.
Celine,
call us.
we love you.
That was beautiful. When you actually grew up in Canada, but walk me through how you were born in Iran, then you moved, and your parents divorced when you were little. All of those things. What do you remember about that? What do you remember about Iran? What was it like immigrating?
I was born in Iran. We moved to Canada. My mom and I moved to Canada when I was 6. My parents divorced when I was like 3.
Do you remember anything from that of like
Divorce?
like going from, did you move out?
We actually, my mom and I moved to the States for a little bit when I was 2 before they divorced. And then my dad couldn't get a visa to come to the States. And then my mom and I moved back to Iran to be with him. And then they divorced.
Got it.
So it was kind of like so then that was around when I was 4 and then, or maybe 3. I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
And then by the time I was 6, so I went to kindergarten in Iran, and then I don't really remember. I remember them fighting a lot. I actually distinctly remember telling my teachers at school way too much information about my.
You're like oversharing. You're like, oversharing. Yeah.
They hate each other, and they like very overshare.
Yeah.
Couldn't help myself.
Do you have any advice?
But yeah, then we moved to Canada when I was 6, just my mom and I would go back to Iran a lot because my whole family was in Iran, and I can't imagine it was so hard for my mom to like raise me, but it was just her and me.
Leave everything she knows.
Yeah.
The language she knows, the culture she knows.
Luckily, the only thing she had was like, my mom was an English teacher.
Oh, that's right. I forgot
so
about
her
that.
English was perfect, and so was mine.
Yes.
She raised me speaking English. We'd gone to America, so we were fine, thank God, in that department. But yeah, starting from zero in a foreign country. In Toronto, the first year, it was minus 47 degrees Celsius, which is very cold.
What is that in Fahrenheit?
I don't know, but it's very cold.
Okay, yeah, that feels cold.
Yeah.
Anyone know the math on that? Great. We're going to say it's like negative 20 Fahrenheit.
Very cold.
Yeah, okay.
So I can't even imagine. And then, yeah, I was lucky to get to go back to Iran every summer. I lived in Germany for a few years as a teenager. Moved around a lot. Had a lot of moving around. Your
German side comes out. I'm going to tell you guys, we were at a restaurant and she read everything on the menu normal. She's like, yeah, we're going to take a glass of Sancerre and a side of fries and a Bratwurst im Schuchen. And we're like, you could have just said that normally. You could have just said Bratwurst. No, but it's because, and then she goes, no, but it's because I grew up in Köln.
She makes fun of this. She will make fun of this.
We're going to do the french fries, the hamburger, slice of pizza, and the Bratwurst.
And the Bratwurst.
Because I'm from Köln. That was great, though. Was your mom? How did your mom react when you were like, yeah, I want to go to theater school. I want to be an actor. I'm sure she was thrilled. Like my parents were.
So I got into a Canadian dream school. I got into McGill University, which is like every Canadian wants their kid to go to McGill.
Shout out McGill.
Canadian Harvard, you know? And then I got into the theater program at the University of Toronto. University of Toronto is also an incredible school.
Right. But it ain't no McGill.
But it's not McGill.
Yeah.
So, you know, my mom really wanted me to go to McGill. And then I got into the journalism program at Ryerson, which is also an incredible program.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's a fact I didn't know.
And my mom kind of actually pushed me towards the journalism program.
Maybe that's why she keeps pushing me toward journalism.
She really
wants, like, someone's got to be
my mom's like, can one of you be Christian Amanpour? I don't care which one.
Yeah.
One of you be Christian Amanpour. I'm tired of this.
She really does. Her mom really does. Like, at DR's birthday party, she was like, oh, you're going to DNC? That's great. So you don't want to
transition?
And I was like, I don't want to be a journalist.
Leave me alone. No, she's obsessed with your political stuff. She just thinks you speak so well and you're so informed. And it's true. I always tell you too.
Thank you.
I'm like, I wish my brain worked as fast. My brain is, guys, Nazanin's brain is fast brain.
But yeah, so then you didn't go for journalism. You went to...
I went to I decided to do the theater program. And it's the first time in my life I made a choice that I wanted.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I think I want this. You know?
You chose
at like
correctly.
18. Yeah.
That's so you were like, you stood up for yourself.
Kind of. Yeah. My mom was very supportive, but
Yeah.
I remember telling my dad that I'd gotten into a theater program, and he was like, there's theater in university? Like,
Yeah.
and I had to lie to
Interesting.
my grandpa. I told my grandpa that I'm studying literature.
Maybe he would have liked it if you
And
said
he's like,
theater
Persian
more.
literature?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yes, of course.
and then he's
Only
like,
Persian
let me see your
literature.
Persian handwriting. And then he was like, okay, never mind.
He was like, you should go to theater
Yeah.
school, actually. So also you and I have worked together a lot.
A lot.
Speaking of acting, I've played your mom.
Yeah.
I've played your teacher.
Yeah.
Tell everyone why I played your mom and what made you come up with that project.
It was
It was called My Immigrant Family.
so my friend Cheyenne and I, we made a lot of things together, and we always talk about like our dream things to make. And one of them was Full House, Persian Full House. So we wrote our version of Persian Full House. And then I was going to play the 8-year-old. I was like going to play Michelle Tanner because that's my dream role. And
That's why you went blonde?
that's why I went blonde. I'm hoping to play an Olsen twin one day.
You got it, dude.
You got it, dude.
Cut it out.
Dave Coulier hurt Alanis
I know.
Morissette,
I
so we
was
can't
just
talk
about to
Dave
say
Coulier.
that. I'm so sorry.
Anyway, so yeah, and then so we wrote it, and then so I'm a little short. Okay,
Are you?
I'm a little bit not tall,
I hadn't noticed.
and you are tall,
Right.
and so is our friend Pej.
Yes.
and also you're great actors,
Oh my God, thank you.
and you already act like my mom sometimes.
I do.
So it just like was like easy
Yeah.
casting. You
I
were
loved
cast
it.
because of your height and your maternal tendencies.
Thank you so much.
As my mom.
So not my acting ability.
No.
Okay,
unfortunately, no.
that's a hard pill to swallow right
Not
now,
for
but
that
we're going to
one.
just move on
Yeah.
from that. It was fun, and somebody needs to pick up that show, My Immigrant Family. Check it out on YouTube.
It's really funny.
It was really
cute.
sweet, and it was especially the intro episode when you fell into you showed what they showed was Tara fell into a dream on her couch, and then she dreamed My Immigrant Family, and then she woke up from it, and I loved it.
Yeah.
More people need to see it. Anyway, what was life in LA like before you met Noshad, your husband? What was dating like? What was just life like? You know what I mean?
Were dark times.
Mm-hmm.
They were dark times. Dating in LA is super fun.
Tell me dating in LA in 3 words. It can be an adjective. It can be a verb.
Dating in LA in 3 words is an adventure, a nightmare, and fun.
Yeah.
It can be fun.
I think that's pretty accurate summary of that.
Yeah.
How do you think that your life has? Oh, you actually said something on a podcast. I listened to some of your interviews. Even though I'm like, this is one of my best friends, and I still learn something new about you every day.
Really?
Like the McGill journalist thing.
Right.
I didn't know that. You said on the Steph Infection podcast, which by the way,
yeah.
I love that comedian.
It's
She's so
brilliant.
funny.
Brilliant.
She really goes for it. And like, that's
Actually
what you
brilliant.
should do on stage.
Yeah.
I really admire that about her.
She's so funny.
You said, quote, I hate men. I really hate them. Has that changed?
No, I love my husband,
I know.
and I love my son.
I love them too, for the record.
But as a concept,
Mm-hmm.
I think men are flawed compared to women.
You don't say.
I do say.
And I, by the way, love men. I have a great
Nazanin
dad. I have a
Nour,
great.
yeah.
I have great family and friends, and I know great men exist. But for the most part,
Hate them.
for
Just different. They're
Not
just
the ones in
different.
this room right now. Not the ones in this room right now.
the ones that came out of my body, or
that I
had
came out of their body.
or my
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. So
I have a great stepdad.
We love them. But how did your perspective change? And how's marriage?
Marriage.
Give me marriage in 3 words.
Marriage is also an adventure. It's also it's a partnership.
Yeah.
That you have to always remember. That's actually, to me, the first thing marriage is. This is my partner. It's not always a romantic partner. This is my life partner. And people
Right.
say that, but like when you're in it, you're like, oh shit, this is really like
you're
my
like,
life.
are you actually
We have to talk about taxes and children and future and the boring shit too.
Yeah.
But then it's hard because then you have to also make your relationship also fun and romantic. So balancing it also when you have a little kid is really hard.
Yeah.
But it's so cliche, but I really did marry my best friend. So
Mm-hmm.
it's fun with him most of the time, but it is actually fun with him. We actually have a great, and so I think growth is another good word for marriage. I think that's a successful marriage always has growth.
Yeah.
And
Growing together. 'Cause
growing
sometimes
together.
people, we see it all the time. They grow apart. They can't figure out how to actually grow together. It's really hard.
And also you have to keep your individuality in order to be able to grow together, because otherwise then it doesn't also work if you're like the same person, because then you will grow apart.
That's also something you're really good at. Since I've met you, you still have your own life. You still do your things with your own friends too.
Yeah.
And you do keep your individuality. You go away to work.
Yeah.
And, you know, Sean will come see you when
you
you're
gotta
away
do
to
it.
work. And so
he encourages me to. I'm like, if I don't want to take a job, he's like, no, you got to do it. You need it for who you are. Yeah.
That's what you need. You know, with a couple of the people that I was with, the history, you know, it wasn't as supportive of those types of things. And it's like, well, then it's not going to work if you come into a relationship knowing somebody's an actor, for example, and that these things are going to happen, and then you expect them to change afterward. That doesn't make much sense, my friend.
It will not work long term.
It will not work. Oh, actually, let's settle this once and for all for the viewers, because we get asked this question a lot.
All the time.
Why wasn't I invited to your wedding? Viewers,
True. Honestly, I didn't know you then.
Yeah, it's true. It's
We
actually
never
because
met.
we hadn't met yet.
I never heard of you.
I wish you could have seen everybody's reaction behind the camera.
She went at that time, we didn't know each other at all.
We actually met 3 months after your wedding.
3 months.
And the funny thing is Tara posted an anniversary picture the other month for their, and she photoshopped me in as a bridesmaid. And I thought it was adorable. And I felt like I was there. And I just think it's really cute that there are people I still see like in social media comments that are being like, why wasn't Nazanin in these pictures? And I did at one point, I was like, I was taking them.
I was the photographer. She's also a brilliant photographer.
Really award-winning photographer. There's another thing you and I have in common that I think does not get talked about at all, and I'm actually experiencing today, and I would love to talk about it.
Me too, girl. I'm experiencing today too. Okay, let's go.
It's called PMDD. And for those of you that don't know, I'm going to give you the Johns Hopkins medical definition, brief definition. PMDD is premenstrual dysphoric disorder. It's a much more severe form of premenstrual syndrome, PMS. It may affect people of childbearing age. It's a severe and chronic health condition that needs attention and treatment. Lifestyle changes and sometimes medicines can help manage symptoms. And I just want to say that when I first found out I had this, I was like in my mid to late 20s, and I talked to my gyno about it. And there is a list, and it's on Johns Hopkins website too, that if you experience 5 of the things on these lists for the week before your period for at least a year, then it's PMDD most likely, and you have to speak to a medical professional. I want to read the list. Depressed mood, sadness, hopelessness, feelings of worthlessness, increased anxiety, tension, feeling of being on edge all the time, mood swings, self-critical thoughts, increased sensitivity to rejection, frequent or sudden tearfulness, increased irritability, anger, or both, conflict 100%. With family, coworkers, friends, decreased interest in normal activities, concentration problems, fatigue, lethargy, lack of energy, changes in appetite, like binging, overeating, craving foods, changes in sleep pattern, feelings of being overwhelmed or out of control, physical symptoms such as breast swelling, tenderness, headaches, joint, muscle aches, weight gain, bloating. I looked at that list and I was like, I have all of them.
And I have them for 10 days. Not 3 days, 10 full days before my period.
Yeah. Mine's around 7. And even just sitting here, like I'm in the thick of it. And you do immediately feel better once you start bleeding.
Totally.
I came in and I actually sat to do a camera test and I started crying. Why? I don't know. Just it happens. No, eat, please. I want you to enjoy the Soan. Are we taping? Are we rolling? Yeah. Great. Yeah, I want to show that you actually ate the thing from Long.
It was so good.
By the way, you know who brought me this? There's a really lovely Iranian girl. I think she's also an actress. She came to see the production of English I was in Barrington Stage. And after the show, she had a bag of it. And she was like, I just brought these back from Iran and I wanted to give it to you as a gift. I thought it was the sweetest thing. I believe her name is Mitra. Shout out to Mitra for the Sohan from Qom. So PMDD. So you experience it, I experience it. It is truly, it's not a normal feeling to have. No, it's a normal feeling to have when you have it. But it's when I would talk to my other friends about PMS, they were like, we don't get like that. And it really affects your life. Very much increased sensitivity to everything. You do feel this incredible hopelessness at one point, maybe for 24 to 48 hours. And I've talked about this with you before, and trigger warning for suicide. I've never experienced suicidal ideation. Like I've never thought I should go do this. I should end my life. But in those 48 hours, I do start thinking like, I mean, but what's even worth it? What is the point of life? Like, this is worthless. Why am I here? Why am I auditioning? Why am I going to go make this show? Why am I doing this? Like, nobody cares. Nobody cares. I have to say, I'm going to die anyway. Like, it would be better if I wasn't around.
I feel exactly the same.
Yeah.
I feel, and it's gotten worse. I hate to say
it gets worse as you get older.
older.
Yeah. Whatever hormones have not been up and down or balanced by being pregnant, they just get worse as you get older. And you have had a child and it still gets worse now.
Honestly, pregnancy was amazing because I didn't feel pregnancy was incredible for my hormones.
Yeah.
I felt amazing all the time. I was like in a good mood. I was like just a happy,
You have the
jolly, chubby person.
You weren't chubby. You were pregnant.
I gained 65 pounds.
Well, you were just pregnant.
Anyway, so yeah, I felt incredible, and then I was hoping it would just like magically make my PMDD disappear, but no, because then you have the baby, and then your hormones change when you're breastfeeding, and then your hormones change when you stop breastfeeding, and then hormones are just, they suck. I hate hormones. I wish we didn't have them, but we need them to like live.
Right. So they're good sometimes. Yeah. Well, what I was going to say. Oh, no, go ahead.
Sorry,
finish,
no,
please.
that's all.
No.
All. Yeah, but I feel the same way too. Hopelessness. And it is, you're right, those 3 days before that, it's just like, going through it right now too. I'm supposed to get it any minute now.
I love you.
So I feel it hard. And at one point, Naz, I realized it was affecting my relationships. It was affecting my marriage.
100%.
And
how
that's
could it not? That's the person you're around all the time. So like that increased sensitivity and irritability is, I remember I was just at my parents', this is normal, by the way, so nobody get upset. But I was like cutting a banana and my mom was like teasing me. She was like, well, you might as well put the whole banana on the bread. And my dad was like, haha. And I was like, why don't you guys just cut it yourself? And I walked out of the room and then I came back and I was like, I don't know what that was. I'm so sorry. And I felt bad for 24 hours. Then you feel so guilty and ashamed that you reacted that way. But it really is a very weirdly, you're not in control of your own body. And so sometimes for those 48 hours, because I've been tracking my period since I was 16, I got my period very late. And I've always been very regular. So every 25 to 29 days, it's there. So I've never had a problem. So I never wanted to go on birth control because I was like, why would I do that if I don't need to? I understand it's supposed to help a little bit with PMDD, but I just didn't want to. So I didn't. And then I have noticed though that, so I will look at my calendar and I'll be like, what? Okay, this is why you're being a little more sensitive probably. Don't respond to that text immediately. Take a breath, like go for a walk. And I have noticed, I will say, when I'm hydrated, when I'm sleeping well, when I'm keeping my stress low, when I'm, making sure I'm not eating fried foods and a lot of sugar, and doing all the things that can help your brain, the symptoms are a little bit more alleviated. They don't go away completely. Like this month, I did all the things right to make sure that I'm balanced, but I'm still I'm on edge, and it's you feel like you're going crazy actually a little bit.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I did go on birth control. I was on birth control for 10 years. It gave me like a general sense of anxiety at all times, but I didn't have I still had PMDD. I still had PMDD, but not as bad.
Right.
And then I went off birth control, and then PMDD returned full force, and then it got really bad. And then, especially after I had the baby, so then my doctor was going to put me on birth control again and prescribed me an SSRI.
Right. There are people that I've heard, we've talked about this, that they've been put on an SSRI just for the 5 to 7 days. So it keeps them even keeled, and then they're not on it for the next 3 weeks of the month.
But
Right.
you have to, so how my doctor says to do that is you have to go on it fully for 3 months, then transition off, and then take it for 3 days. So it is a like a bit bigger commitment.
Wow.
And I think it's something I'll eventually do, but I will say, and I don't want to get into all the specifics of it, but there are natural ways of also dealing with PMS that I've discovered that
Right.
ways to medicate that are more natural,
Right.
that have really helped me. And we've talked about, I don't want to go into it here, but if
don't
anybody
have to.
has like actual questions about it and want to talk to me about it, I'm happy to talk to people about it.
I would
because-
actually love to do a follow-up episode of having a doctor on, which I'm
Totally,
looking
you
to
should.
do. And this is one thing I want to talk to them about because it's kind of insane. I love you so much.
I love you
and
more.
I want to end this by doing just a little game with you.
Oh,
a
shit.
word association game.
Okie dokie.
But it's like a speed round. So I'm going to
boy.
say something.
Oh no,
and-
you're so fast, Naz.
No. I'm not answering. You're answering.
Oh, good.
I'm going to say something and then we're not competing.
Shit, I never
I
want to
love
compete
you.
with you.
No, we're not competing. You're
I'm
also
like a slow motion and you are fast forward.
speed round word association.
Cap.
I'm going to say the word.
Cap.
First thing that comes to your mind. So try not to think, like an improv exercise. And it can be a word or it can be a phrase. Whatever that comes to your mind when you hear this.
Okay.
No shot.
No. Boo boo.
That's her husband. Marriage.
No.
DR.
No.
Being a mom.
No.
Arta.
Oh. Mama.
Khosro.
Which one?
The OG.
No. It's my dad. I have two dads that are Khosro. It's a long story.
Isn't that great? Yeah. Her
Yeah,
dad and
my
her
dad
stepdad.
and my stepdad have the same name.
Family.
Yeah.
Style.
Yeah, girl. I got stuff. Sorry, these are all sounds.
Yeah. If we could do words, that'd be great. But you know, whatever comes to mind. I did say whatever comes to mind.
Sounds.
I just say whatever word comes to mind, but okay.
Oh.
Vintage.
Okay.
Halloween.
The greatest holiday of all time.
Madonna.
Queen.
Gugush.
Bigger queen.
Sultan Qalbha. Alanis Morissette.
Queen of my heart since I was 8 years old.
Shout out. Mahmoud.
Long time ago.
Persia's Got Talent.
When is the next season?
Honestly.
Ugh.
English.
Sanas to see.
Manija. Famous viral
Comedy.
character. Peace.
In the Middle East.
Love.
You.
Oh, I love you. Los Angeles.
City of Weirdos.
Not wrong. Canada.
City of Weirdos.
Germany.
Don't live there.
Iran.
Free Iran.
Tara Grammy. I love having you here.
love you.
I love having you in my life.
I love you having
You are a great friend,
Aw.
a talented actress,
Aw.
and an extraordinary mother.
Oh,
And I love
bitch,
you.
don't make me cry.
Okay, we can cry together. Anyway, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. And we're done.
We did it, Nazi.
Yay. First episode.
So cute.